Hello, today we're going to unpack the criteria for Task 6 Analytical Essay Exam for the Great Speeches Unit. Hopefully by the end of this session you'll be able to understand what you need to do for the grade that you're aiming for this task. Let's start in the top with our understanding and responding to context criteria. So the first dot point is an exploitation of a range of essay patterns and conventions to achieve specific purposes. In this criteria here, we're specifically having a look at the structure of your essay. That is, have you got an introduction, body paragraphs, and a conclusion? Your introduction needs to have a thesis in there that's clearly articulated. In this instance, for your body paragraphs, you're going to have 4. So you're going to have a look at speech 1 first, where you do a context paragraph and then a language techniques paragraph, and then replicate that for speech 2 and finish with a conclusion. To get an A, you need to exploit those essay patterns for specific purposes. A B is an effective control of them for specific purposes, and then a C is a use of to achieve purposes. The second criteria is a discerning selection, organisation and synthesis of relevant and substantive subject matter to support opinions and perspectives. Here we're having a look at your word count and the quotes that you've chosen, making sure that they prove your thesis and that you've organised your information into a logical structure. So for an A, you have discerning selection and synthesis of the substantive subject matter. For a B, it's an effective synthesis of relevant subject matter. And for a C, you've selected relevant subject matter. The third dot point in our top criteria is the manipulation and control of the roles and writer of the relationship. So this is the quality of the writing, your tone that you establish, making sure that you're writing in third person and that you are, academic writing here in the production of your essay. So to get an A, you need to manipulate and control that relationship. B is an establishment and control, and C is an establishment and maintenance of that throughout. In our understanding and controlling textual features section, that's really the mechanics of your writing. So our first dot point looks at a discerning combination of a range of grammatically accurate language structures for specific effects, including clauses and sentences and written text. So this looks at your paragraphs, your sentence structure, making sure that you're using a variety of different sentence structures and a variety of different ways to contextualize your quotes. So the difference between an A, B and a C is a discerning combination for specific effects, a B is a control of for effects, and a C is a use of for some purposes. The second dot point is the discerning use of mode-appropriate cohesive devices to develop and emphasize ideas and connect parts of text, including paragraphing and written text. This is your paragraphing specifically, looking at that you've got that topic sentence, an elaboration, contextualization of quote, put your quote in, quote analysis, links to thesis, links to the next paragraph, etc. This is making sure that your cohesion is used and your thesis ties everything together here. So for an A, you need to have a discerning use of this to emphasize ideas. B is an effective use to maintain ideas, and C is a use of to link ideas. The third dot point is about your vocab choices. So to get an A, you need to make sure you have a discerning use of specific vocabulary. So that's looking at your use of vocab in regards to your rhetoric devices, identification of them correctly as well. For a B, you've got an effective use for specific purposes, and then a C is a use of for some purposes. The last dot point is a discerning use of the mode-appropriate features to achieve specific effects, these being our written features. This is our spelling, our punctuation, and our referencing, the general look of your essay as well. So an A is a discerning use for specific effects, B is an effective use for effects, and C is a suitable use for purposes. Our creating and evaluating meaning criteria down the bottom really comes down to your analysis and links to thesis. So for the first dot point, a discerning analysis of the ways ideas, attitudes and values underpin text and influence audiences. So this is your context of your speech, your analysis of good quotes and thinking, does your quote prove your thesis? Your quotes need to value add, and your quote analysis needs to identify the devices that you've used. Okay, so to get an A, it's a discerning analysis, B is an effective analysis, and C is just an analysis of those ways that ideas and attitudes underpin the text. The second dot point is a subtle and complex evaluation of perspectives and representations of concepts, identities, times, and places in text. So this is looking at your overall links to thesis, making sure that it's clear in your quote analysis and that the device informs these representations. So to get an A, it's subtle and complex, B is effective, and then C is just an evaluation of. The last dot point is your aesthetic features. Okay, this is the overall holistic nature of the piece. and is it effective in answering the task question? So to get an A, you need to have a discerning evaluation. To get a B, it's an effective evaluation. And then C is just an identification of some of these aesthetic features in your text. If you are unsure about any of this criteria, ask your teacher. Hopefully this unpacks it for you and clarifies where you need to go or where you want to be. Good luck with your task.